Cloudcast Media.
Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, and we're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We are the nation's longest-running community podcast. We're in our 20th year. Real proud of that. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. 6 decades of doing great things for folks living in San Diego County, whether it's food insecurity, it's a homeless, financial literacy. They are involved in everything. So pleased to have in the studio with us today the co-chairs of the Invictus Games San Diego 2029, Andy Soler and Fran. Is it Basson?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Well, welcome to the show. How you guys doing?
Yeah, thank you very much for having us. We appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having us.
Did you enjoy the SDMAC event where they rolled out the Military Economic Impact Report yesterday?
We did.
Or 2 days ago. I can't remember how many days it was.
We learned a lot of acronyms.
Military leads the world in acronyms, I'll tell you that right now. Joined by my guest co-host, Ian Solomon. He is a leadership studies senior at San Diego State University. He's done a great job co-hosting. He's also an entrepreneur as he started his own business as well. So you enjoying your gig as a co-host?
I'm loving it. This has been incredible. Just hearing the stories that everyone has to tell.
Well, listen, he launched a business called Poly Productions, and so everything he is learning from all the guests he's been talking to over here is going to be poured into that business as well.
Most definitely.
Yeah, so we're excited about it. I know Andy has a question for you.
Yeah, I was wondering if you could tell us a little about the mission of your organization.
Okay, so first of all, are you aware of the Invictus Games? Do you know what the Invictus Games are? So the Invictus Games is very much modelled on the Warrior Games. In fact, Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex, watched the Warrior Games here in 2012, loved the concept and thought, you know what, why don't we bring it to the world? And he started one for 2014 in London, and it's grown exponentially. It's held every 2 years. The last time was in Vancouver earlier this year. It featured 550 athletes from 25 different countries around the world. So we're hoping, and we're putting a pretty comprehensive bid together to bring it here for 2029.
Right. And it involves, it's Paralympic type of activities of those who were veterans who were injured. Is that correct, Fran?
That is correct, yes.
Right, exactly. And they come from all over the world?
They come from 25 nations currently.
Right, exactly. Yes. And so is there Invictus Games already happened or are they every 4 years? Are they every year, Andy?
They're every 2 years.
2 years, okay.
Yeah, so it was in Vancouver in February this year. Birmingham in the UK have got it for 2027. And we're one of 6 candidate cities in the world that are in line to get it for 2029.
Right, exactly. And who are you competing against?
Fran?
We are competing against Dijon in South Korea, Aalborg in Denmark, the Veneto region in northern Italy, and Kiev in Ukraine, and Abuja in Nigeria.
Wow. So is there usually that many cities that are up for the Invictus Games, or there's more now or less?
I believe so. I think it's around about that. Yes.
Right.
Seems to have got more competitive as the years have gone off. They had a long list and then a short list and a medium list, and we've just submitted documentation to get us down to the final 2. We think we've got a really compelling argument why we should be in the final 2, and that decision will become at the end of December.
Well, it's coming up then. So why San Diego?
How long do you have? Right? There's,
did Fran tell you it's a 4-hour interview? Yeah. Okay, exactly.
There are so many reasons. I mean, obviously, the first thing is, first and foremost, why not San Diego? We have an iconic city in which to have the games, and we're intertwined with the history of the military. Where we say we want to put the games is downtown San Diego. We want to utilize the convention center right behind the convention center, you've got Rady Shell. The other side, you've got Petco Park, and it's surrounded by world-class hotels. The thing looks out on the Pacific Ocean and the Pacific Fleet. I mean, it is iconic by any stretch of the imagination. I think the optics for a worldwide broadcast to have it there would be fantastic. But more than that, it's, San Diego really is already exemplifying the Invictus spirit. And we were struck actually when we were at SDMAC with you on Wednesday, Drew. For the mayor's report, the infrastructure already exists. We've got our veteran hospitals, we've got medical research centers, medical research facilities. Our 3 universities all have divisions that help support the military. We've got foundations, we've got charities, we've got government programs, we've got military programs. Everywhere you look, you go to a San Diego Padre game, they honor the military. I was at the San Diego Soccer
FC
at the FC at the weekend. It's the first time they've ever got to the playoffs, and the halftime show wasn't about them; it was about honoring the military. We feel bringing the Invictus Games to San Diego. It's not just embracing the Invictus. The Invictus spirit, but it's going to amplify the message with it.
Well, you're spot on that. I'm a little prejudiced when it comes to that. We just relaunched our Mission San Diego military podcast with David Booten, the CEO of SDMAC, as you know. Started in 2008. And, we're the largest military port in the San Diego, as you mentioned, in San Diego in the country, if not the world, with the Marines, the Coast Guard, and the Navy, and everybody in between. You are spot on with everything you just said, Andy. And so, Fran, what can we do? What can folks like, I've been doing this podcast for 2 billion years, it seems like, but what can we do to amplify folks? Do people have to get on board? Do you need more businesses to support you? Do you need more capital?
We do. Well, all of that, actually.
Okay.
Yes, exactly. You said it. We're obviously trying to bring awareness to the community, make everybody know how important these games are and would be for San Diego. And I think it will be, tremendous for the community here.
Right. So at the end of December, you're going to find out what the final 2 cities are, right?
We are. Yeah.
Okay, right. I'm pretty confident San Diego will be one of them, okay? It should be one of them.
Okay. I'm sold. Bring to San Diego.
Well, for everything that Andy talked about, and, we know how to put on events, be it the military is here, the universities like yours at San Diego State, and all the universities support the military, the medical facilities. Again, we're repeating exactly what Andy said, but you can't repeat it enough. And say it enough in it. Talk a little bit about, before we go to break, Fran, about what type of response you're getting from the businesses in San Diego. And ironically, following you is going to be the CEO of the Chamber of Commerce, Chris, who I'm sure you folks have met, correct?
We have, yeah.
Yeah, very good. Talk about how the businesses have reacted.
Fantastic. Everybody we've spoken to really does want to come on board. So once we get to the next round, is where we're actually going to be able to, seek out different businesses and hope that they can help with sponsorships and things like that. Because I don't think there's a person that we haven't spoken to that doesn't feel the same way as we do, how this would be tremendous for the city of San Diego.
Right. If they do, they'll be booted out of San Diego County. That's what they should. When we return, we're going to chat more with Andy Soler and Fran Basson. They are the co-chairs of the Invictus Games San Diego 2029. Big decision coming up in December. We'll talk more about what we can do from our end, folks like Ian, and getting some of the college folks to get involved in it. I'm sure that's a big part of it as well. What are some of the challenges that you folks will be facing, and how do we eradicate those challenges when we return after this short break?
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you, but something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit, so we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, the unifying ethos is all about this community, the one you call home. If you dare to dream and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
I'm Drew Schlosberg with Cloudcast Media, listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We are the nation's longest-running community podcast. In our 20th year, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, 6 decades of doing great things for people in San Diego County. Honored to have in the studio with us today the co-chairs of the Invictus Games San Diego 2029, Andy Soler and Fran Basson, joined by my guest co-host, Ian Solomon. He is a San Diego State senior, majoring in leadership studies, big interest in journalism, and he has formed his own company, Poly Productions, that this thing would absolutely be in the wheelhouse of what you want to do, correct?
Definitely. Just putting on these events, spreading awareness. I love what you guys are doing, and hopefully you guys can make this happen.
And he's got a question for you, Andy.
Yeah, going off that, I'm curious about the legacy that you hope that putting on this event will leave for San Diego.
We were lucky enough to be invited to London last month for a symposium from the Invictus Games Foundation. It was called Invictus Horizons, and the guest speaker was Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex. And he spoke very passionately about his vision, or their vision for the next 10 years, that it had to be more than just 8 days of competition every 2 years. It has to be a sustainable year-long mission, year after year, and in cooperation and conjunction with member nations from around the world. Part of our legacy will be to create an Invictus America. And Invictus America will join the Invictus groups from around the world and in concert work with them to bring awareness to injured and sick military veterans. I think that's the biggest legacy that we can get is actually doing that and changing people's perception of what these people, what the veterans do for us and have done for us, and the sacrifice that they've made it. Permanent legacies we're going to have, hopefully, if we get it, and if we get it, then comes the funding, and then the funding will build these things. An Invictus House, which will be a place, rehab that veterans serving and retired can go to get rehabilitation with cutting edge medicine and holistic treatments. There's a lot of things planned. There's a benefits concert and there's all sorts of things that.
No, we can't hate that. And when you get the nod in December, much to your detriment, you'll have to be on my show, probably leading up to when you get the bid. When will the bid actually come in? Obviously, end of December, you'll find out if you're going to be the final two. And then once that happens, do they make the bid in 27 or when?
Actually, they make that in the summer of 26. So we'll find out.
Oh my goodness! Yes. So then you got 3 years to. But you will have to have raised the money between December of 25 and summer of 26, or you get a little bit of a runway.
Well, what we're trying to do is at least have endorsements for companies that would say they will be helping out.
Right. And do you have some of those endorsements now, or you really can't say that at this point?
Yeah, we've got it's a little bit chicken and the egg thing.
100%.
We've got people lined up. Put it that way.
Right.
Not only have we got people lined up, major donors, we've got sponsors, and we've got meetings right up until the announcement. But we've also had individuals, and we've got a website, which I'm sure you're going to ask us about the end, but I'll plug it now, which is.
I'm going to ask you, what is your website?
Well, thank you very much, Drew. It's funny you should mention that. It's Invictus Games San Diego 2029.com.
Yeah, so I'll turn it over to Ian here. Obviously, you mentioned the universities, and whether it's San Diego State or to UCSD, where our senior associate producer, Brandon Joe, goes, or Cal State San Marcos, and even the community colleges, certainly because of where we are, big supporter of the military. What can folks like Ian do at his university?
One of the things that the US do really well, and they actually founded the concept, is volunteerism. We need volunteers. I mentioned the website. We've got people on the website saying, what can I do to help? Where can I donate? And at the moment, we said, well, hang on a minute, hold on to your money. We want it, but not just yet.
Right.
We'll put your name on a list, but volunteer. We think we're going to need an army. Well, we know we're going to need an army. Maybe 5,000, maybe 7,000. It depends how many different things we put on. We've got parades, we've got concerts, we've got dinners, we've got competitions. There's a lot of things that we're going to need help with. And I think the universities is one thing where if you can galvanize the troops, so to speak, to help us with that on a boots on the ground level would really, really help.
Yeah, it sounds like, I know for a fact, people will want to help and volunteer. It's just about how do you get that message out and how do they become aware of it? Right. Because I know that once students particularly become aware of this event, I think they'll be lining up to help volunteer. Students
are good at social media.
Exactly.
And that's really spreading the word. Mm-hmm. That's what we'll do. Drew, you know better than us. How many people are touched by the military every day? I think it's one in 3, 1 in 4.
At least, if not
1 in 2.
Right.
Yeah, and especially even going with what I'm interested in, which is like this experiential marketing. Like if you put up these events on the campuses, these little pop-up events that they're like, oh, that wasn't there yesterday. What's this? That will immediately drive that engagement, and then that will lead to them wanting to volunteer.
Here's your first pop-up. Yeah, no. That's what a poly is going to be all about. Already is all about over here. So once we always tease on this show that Drew gives assignments out. Drew doesn't have to do the work on that in that aspect of it. But that's how it starts. And I think Ian would be a great connector on that. San Diego State, 40,000 plus people, of course, and certainly that's there's 200,000 plus alumni of San Diego State just here, and I'm one of them. Thank you. In our region, not counting 500,000, around the country in this aspect of it. We're chatting again with Fran Basson and Andy Soler. They are the co-chairs of the Invictus Games San Diego 2029. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. Honored to have as my guest co-host Ian Solomon, San Diego State Senior in Leadership Studies. In this aspect of it, you've got me geeked up on this thing here, and as you got a lot of people on it, that's no surprise. Is there anything between now and the decision in December that people can do that can sway the decision, or that decision, there's not much more you can do? I don't know. Fran?
Well, if a company wants to underwrite the entire event, we can welcome that.
Right. But for right now, is who makes the decision? Who's the Invictus? Is there a board out in England that does this?
Yeah, there's an invisible board somewhere. We don't know who they are. Otherwise, we would have already got to them, Drew.
Are you kidding me? Well, yes, they're also known as there. Go to the CIA. You won't be able to find them, or whatever your group is out there. In that area, but they're the decision makers. I take it, correct?
Yeah, there's a Invictus Games Foundation is in London.
Right.
We've met quite a few of them. We've met a few of the staff. We don't know whether they're decision makers or not.
Right.
But there is a board that will review the 6 candidate city proposals and bring it down to 2. Once we get down to 2, that's when it gets really serious. That's when we can come back out and say, right, we need some money to fund the rest of the bid.
Right.
Because the rest of the bid, we're gonna have to bring them here. There'll be a site inspection. That's when we're gonna have to wow them. We're gonna have to fly to London and make a presentation. We're gonna have to put a bid book in. We spoke to the folks at Vancouver when they won their bid, and they presented a 200-page document, to cement their.
But is there a number you need to hit at a minimum number? It's not in my wallet, obviously.
No, right? I know Vancouver spent 500,000 Canadian dollars on their bid.
Really?
Just on the bid.
Okay. Okay.
And
that's not even the production of the event itself.
No. That's just a bid. That's just to win the bid.
Not doable?
No, that is doable. That's very, very doable.
Exactly.
We can get that. We can get that without a problem.
Right.
We know we can get that.
That's right.
And Birmingham spent something similar to win their bid. And when we've spoken to other sort of bid committees for other events, that figure seems about right to get a proper, videographer and a graphic designer and get the feasibility studies and everything in. So that's not out of the realms.
Right.
To put the event on itself.
Right.
We need to show an underwrite of around $40 million.
Right.
However, Canada spent 87 million Canadian dollars. That was their entire budget.
Right.
And Birmingham, there's the home of Invictus, so they'll probably go even for. So we think, we're going to need a bit because America's going to do it bigger and better. So we'll need a large budget, but we've got some great corporations here in the US that can back us.
And I think, as you mentioned, you've met our next guest, Chris Cate, CEO of the San Diego Regional Chamber of Commerce, and you bring in groups like that, SDMAC, EDC, San Diego State, and so forth. And of course, spotlight on the community. Of course, we'll put you over the top.
Absolutely.
I'm sure. Actually, it may kibosh your dream. Just don't say, Drew, for God's sake, in this aspect of it. I'll start with you on this, Fran. Any final comments for our listeners, or you want to tee it over to Andy?
Tee it over to Andy. I think we're just, grateful for all the support that we're getting. Thank you.
You bet. What else can we do?
Well, again, there's a website. It's Invictus Games San Diego 2029.com. There's a questionnaire there you can fill out to be a volunteer, a donator, a supporter, or just to get on our newsletter. And we'll keep you updated on how it goes.
Right. So what I'd love to do, if it's okay with you, once you get the bid as one of the two cities, I want to have you guys back on the show quite immediately. We book about 3 months in advance, but I'm going to add an extra show for you in January. Seriously.
We'd absolutely love to. Thank you.
We'll do that. Andy Soler and Fran Basson, co-chairs of the Invictus Games San Diego 2029. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. Listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We are the nation's longest running community podcast in our 20th year, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, 60 plus years of doing great things in the community. To my guest host, Ian Solomon, just a fantastic job. He's a senior at San Diego State in leadership studies. And you're still enjoying this, Ian?
Sign me up.
Trust me, though, you'll rue the day you said that. And to our listeners, we hope you enjoyed the interview.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
Cloudcast Media.